All right, all right, all right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. And welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Hopefully everyone's been, I think most places around the country have been warming up. It definitely has here, and thank God. I feel like every stream since, I got back in, January for my Christmas break, I've always started the stream with talking about the weather. Because hey, what else do you got? What else do you talk about? But no, it thankfully is finally warming up here. I'm so happy that it's warming up. Like I don't need to have a blanket on me anymore while I stream. And it's gonna stay warm for the most part, for another week, which is great. I'm very excited for. Um, but yeah, trying to think. I don't know if there's really much to really get into that's really happened since we last streamed on Sunday. It doesn't feel like it feels longer ago than it was because because Monday was President's Day, so had the day off. So it feels like longer than it actually was. And honestly, I just spent my President's Day just doing nothing. And it was great. It was just amazing. You need those days every once in a while, just a day of doing nothing and chilling. Yeah. One thing I will say is that I have been working on a new short for the YouTube channel. That'll be a short basically covering the first three people that we've researched from this photo, and just kind of going over that. And that should hopefully be up this weekend. I'm pretty sure it'll be up this weekend at this point. So look forward to that. The link to the YouTube channel is down below. So if you want to if you would check that out, that'd be greatly appreciated. We got some shorts on there of research streams that we've done before, and other cool things that we've discovered during these live streams. Yeah. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? I think that's pretty much all the updates I got. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a weekend or I always stream on Sunday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Friday or a Saturday stream this weekend. It really just depends. Yeah, and if I did do that stream, I don't think it would be a research stream. Yeah, so let's see. Let's go ahead then and talk a little bit about what we're doing today. Oh, actually, wait, there is an update. I do have an update on something. In fact, I do actually... Hold on, let me... I think I have it here. Yes, I do. Okay, so about a month ago, actually, we researched this photo on stream. This is a photo that I bought in an antique store, and we discovered on this stream. It was a crazy stream, probably one of my favorite streams we've had in a long time, where we just kept discovering crazy stuff. That the person in this photo that I bought in an antique store is E.J. Lake, who it turns out we discovered was the governor of Connecticut. And I bought this at a random antique store in California, which was crazy. And we also discovered during the stream that he also was a famous college football player and everything. Really interesting, really cool stuff. But because of the actual historical connection of this photo, I decided to actually see if there was a museum in Connecticut that would be interested in this. And so I did email one of them last week, putting in they have a thing on their website where it's and I'm not going to say which one just for privacy reasons, but the museum I did contact, fill out their donation form, where they, they ask questions. Like, actually, it's actually good questions that they ask. They specifically ask not just what the stuff is, but its connection to the state of Connecticut and why you think it's significant or important and everything, which are I think is very good. It shows that they have a very clear scope that they're following and everything, which is great. That every good museum should have something like that. But because of that, because they do have a very strict scope, they did get back to me today, actually, and they said that they were not interested. They were not interested in the photo, which is perfectly fine. And trust me, I know because I work in a museum, so I totally understand that a museum cannot accept and should not accept every possible donation that comes to them when it comes to like object and material donations. Good museums will have a very strict scope of collections where it's like they only collect things that specifically like help the mission of the museum or institution. And their reasoning for the rejecting this one was that because it was a photo of him when he was not governor of Massachusetts. This is when he was a governor in, or sorry, not governor of Connecticut. This is when he was at school, in Harvard. They decided that it doesn't fit their scope. If it was a photo of him while he was governor, then they maybe would have taken it. However, they did also list in their response, they did say that they did link me to another institution that might be interested in this. So I think I'm gonna contact them and kind of try this process again. Again, I would not be offended if they say no. And that's the message that I want to share too, is that if you want to donate something to a museum and the museum or archive or whatever says no, don't take it personally. Do not take it personally, because museums, almost every museum has a storage problem where they for decades, and sometimes maybe even in some cases over a century in some museums in America, like they spent so long just taking everything because they were so worried about good PR basically, or like good donor relations and everything, that they would just accept everything. But that has led to obviously to storage problems, and now museums are very good museum. Not every museum. Some museums haven't caught on with this, but good museums with proper procedures and well laid out policies are going to be way more strict with what they accept into collection. So as of right now, I am still the owner of this photo, but we shall see if that changes. All right. But on to what we're going to be doing today. To give a quick summary, in case it's your first time here or you've missed the past few streams of this project, where basically this is a photograph that I bought in an antique store. It is a photo of a birthday party from 1888 for a girl named Eleanor Metcalf. Hey, Pirate, good to see you. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good evening. Where basically we are researching, trying to find everybody in this photo, and we're able to do that because on the back of the photo there is a list of every single person with a corresponding number in the photo. So far, whoops, nope, that's not what I meant to click. So far, we have researched numbers 1 through 5. We have found all of them so far, and number 5 here was a doozy. If you missed that stream, basically I spent 3 hours on stream trying to research and find number 5 here, whose name is Amy Brown is her name. And it took over 3 hours on stream to finally, after all that time, finally find her. And it was such a crazy like feeling of finally finding her after that much time. In fact, I made it a clip on my channel, so you can check that out and see just how ecstatic I get. And like I'm like in the clip, you can hear I'm trying not to shout too loudly. But yeah, so and on Sunday's stream we researched Amy, and found out a little bit about her life. We found out that she was an artist. She never married, and went to Yale for the art school there, but never finished. From what I found, it seems like she never finished her classes at Yale. But that was last stream. This stream today, we are going to be researching number 6 there. Number 6 in this photo. Number 6, according to the back of the photograph here, is Flora Fosselman. And if that last name sounds a little bit familiar, is because, as you can see here on the top of the list at number 1, we've already researched her brother, Harry Fosselman. Harry being number 1 here in the photo. The first person in this entire thing that we researched. It did take a while when I was doing my initial preliminary research to find both Harry and Flora, because on the back of this, whoever wrote this down actually spelled their name wrong. Here it's spelled Fossle, but in reality their name is spelled Fossel. And so that made things a little bit difficult to try and find them. On top of that, Flora here is actually a nickname. Her full name, her real name, is Florence. So that made things a little bit more difficult to find. But because we've already researched her brother, Harry, we already have some preliminary information. Now, unfortunately, Harry does... her brother Harry does pass away at the age of 17. And we don't have a ton of information on him because of that, because he lived such a short life, so he doesn't have a huge mark in the historic record. But what I do remember, though, is that Flora, his sister, does live a pretty long time. And I do believe she does get married, just from like the side records that we found when we were researching her brother. I try not to look too much at like her because I want to save that for today, you know. So there might be a little bit of like overlap repeat today. Because of that, I don't know how long this stream is going to be. It might be a little bit shorter than normal, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I sometimes I feel like I say that, like, oh yeah, this is going to be a shorter stream, and then it never is. And then we're here for like forever. All right. So let's go ahead and head on over to our classroom. All right, so this is our spreadsheet of all the people that we have and are going to research. And so up here, we do have some stuff on Harry that honestly, I'm just going to copy and paste and put down in Flora, because they're already going to be the same. So things like her parents' names are going to be the same. And then she's also going to be living in the same place. But I think that's kind of it, really. I do know she does marry at some point, but we'll have to find those records again and wait till when we do. And I don't know exactly when she was born or where she was born, because as we discovered when we researched Harry, that their father, Millard Fosselman, was a pastor in the evangelical church. And because of that, every 2 or 3 years, he was assigned to a new church, a new location to serve. And so his family moved around a lot, and it makes it very hard sometimes to find them in the historic record. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to start just looking for Florence. Florence. And I think from what I remember too is that Florence is the older sister of Harry. But we don't know birth year. We know Pennsylvania. Let's see if that's enough. I don't think it will be. Okay, wait, hold on. This might be something. Birth certificates. I don't think this is her birth certificate. I think this is her child. Walton, Florence, Edith, Fosselman. Yeah, okay, so this is her. This is her. And then we have all these along the side here. Perfect. Okay. Got a couple things going on. Okay. I say we go ahead and we start with the census records like we always do. So let's start first with this one, 1880. Okay, so they spelled it wrong here. Okay, so this is the 1880 census. Yeah, we got Millard, Fosselman, Nancy, yep, that's right. Nancy J, so that is them. And Flora, daughter, 2 years old. Yep, preacher, yep, okay, this is them, 100%. So at this point, they're living in Newport, Pennsylvania. Now, I don't know... Actually, wait, hold on. There's a thing I can pull up real quick. That should hopefully help us. One of the records that we found when we were researching Harry. Here we go. Let me pull it over. Hold on. Ooh. Come on. Ooh, computers. Computer did not like this. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the computer was not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. Okay. Let me put this here. Okay, here we go. So this... Come on. There we go. Again, it's being... Okay, so here we go. So this is his Millard's record. Of basically where he was working and where he was living during his time as a preacher. Okay, so this says he was born in Perry County. And they're currently still living in Perry County. So it's likely that Flora was also born in Newport. I'll hold off on saying 100% for sure because there's not, because we only have, we know in 1881 he was living in McClure, and if she was born in if she was 2 in 1880, that means she was born in 1878. It also means that she's 10, which means that so far she's the oldest person in the photo so far. But let's see if we can get something else to like corroborate like what exactly what her real actual birth date is, because sometimes these census records are wrong with that kind of a thing. That's the 1880. We're probably not going to get an 1890, so let's go ahead and go to 1900. Okay, yeah, so at this point... Oh, wow. Okay, so this is interesting. If I do remember correctly, we did also find their house. Oh, no, we didn't find their house. Their house doesn't exist anymore. Their house was the church, and the church doesn't exist anymore. It's a parking lot now. I do remember that for this one. Yeah, okay, June of 1878, 22. Okay, so I think I'm pretty confident then that she was born in 1878. So yeah, so she would be about 10 in the photo. Oh, she's a teacher. Instrumental music. I love how the thing, the like automatic transcription thing thinks that it says teacher insurance music. It does kind of look like insurance, but it's instrumental. So she is a teacher at this point. Okay. She's 22. Not married yet. But we know she does get married eventually. And she has a lot younger sister. An 8-year-old sister when she's 22. So that means she was 14? Yeah, Florence was 14 when her sister was born. Okay, now if I remember correctly, I don't think we looked at any of the census records beyond this. Because this is the only census record that Harry shows up in. Alright, so then so between 1900 and 1910, she does get married, because at 1910... she is married and has a different last name. And she's still living in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is where her father was preacher for like the longest. Here you see, yeah, like Williamsport first, Williamsport again, and then also Williamsport again, and then that's also Williamsport is where he retired. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Florence. She's 31. Is he 21 or 29? I can't tell if that's like a 1 or a faded 9. If that's a 1, that's crazy. We've only been married for 2 years, so she was 29 when she got married. And her husband's name is Walter. Walter Neff. Funston Avenue. Yeah, still living in Williamsport. Okay, let's see. What did he do? What if he's if he's a preacher too? That's crazy. He is mail carrier. Oh, he's a postal worker. Look at that. I don't think we've had a mail carrier before. Out of like all the people we've ever researched. So I think that's a first. I think this is a 29. Looking at this, I'm pretty sure this is just a faded 29. That like the circle part of the 9 is like faded. And they do have a daughter. Bernetta? Yeah, Bernetta. Who's only 2 months old. Okay, yeah, so they just had their first kid. Bernetta's their first kid. I wonder then if they had any other kids. So let's go 1920. And see what has changed in the family. Oh, look at that. Okay, so they have their daughter, but then they have a son, and his name is Millard. She named him after his father, or after her father. That's sweet. Okay, Lyman County, Jersey Shore. So they're still in the same county. What is that? Something Street? Parr Street? Or Oak? Is it Oak? I guess? I guess that makes more sense than Pack. Also so here his name is Walter G. Neff, but here he's George W. Neff. So I guess we'll find out maybe in the next one whether or not he goes by Walter or George. Oh, no, wait, how old is he? Okay, 38. Yeah, okay, so that is like a 29 or something like close to that. Also, wait, hold on, no, she went down in age. Because she's 38 here. But here she's 31. Here she's 22. She keeps going down in age every time. Okay, but that could just be an error, because like maybe they just heard 38 for George and then just put it down again. And is he still a mail carrier? Let's see. He is, look at that. He is a mail carrier. Look at that. So then let's move on to 1930. Oh, look at that. They have another son. Another kid. So they had 3 kids. Yeah, here it's now saying that she's 49. Okay, they are in Jersey Shore. Still. Oliver Street. 231, so a different location. Yeah, because that's 440. Yeah, so they have another son, David. Nine, 29, 20. Oh, 10-year age gap. Which, hey, you know, I guess she experienced that too in her family, so I guess maybe that just continued. Okay, is he still a mail carrier? Let's see. Is he still a mail carrier? Yep. Oh, a lifelong career in the Postal Service. Well, I can close that. I don't need that. I didn't realize that was up. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. 1940. Okay, yeah, so their oldest moved out. Yeah, Bernetta is not there anymore. So she moved out. Or she got married. They're living in the same house. In 1940, she's 59. Is he still a postal worker? Yep. Wow, still at 40. So wait, so yeah, for over 30 years, he's worked in the post office at this point. Specifically as a mail carrier, too. And he was dedicated. Okay. I think that's it. Here's the census records. So, if that's the case, I'm assuming she possibly passed away sometime between 1940 and 1950, because otherwise we would normally get a 1950 census here. Okay, let's see what this one is real quick. Oh, are these marriage records? There we go. Wait, no, that's a different Neff. There it is. June 18th, 1908. G.W. Neff, Florence E. Fosselman. That's them. Got married in Williamsport. Oh, and there... Look at that. The officiating minister is her father. Wow. Her own father officiated her wedding. That's sweet. Okay, so we do have a date for that. Also, well, yeah, hold on. What does he go by? Does he go by George? He does go by George. He goes back and forth. Look, here he's Walter. Here he's George. Here he's George. Here he's Walter. It's equal number. He has 2 for George, 2 for Walter. Okay, we'll go by what's on his gravestone. Because I think that'll 100% for sure kind of like solve that. I'm not going to look at the death certificates just yet. I'm guessing this is a marriage record for one of their kids. Oh yeah, this is Millard. Millard Fosselman Neff. Moved to okay, apparently he moved to Arlington, Virginia. Yeah, 231 Oliver Street, yep. He's 26. She's 25. Margene. I don't think I've ever seen that name before. Margene Laura Yoakum. Huh. Yeah, both from Williamsport. Both from Williamsport, but they got married in Arlington, Virginia. I wonder if maybe he moved there for work? Huh. Let's look at the city directory real quick. Oh, this is specifically from 1930. Yeah, post office carrier. And this is for 1930. Wow, Jersey Shore? Hold on. Let me pull up good old Google Maps real quick. Okay, let me pull up Jersey Shore. Yeah, there is a... That is crazy. It's called Jersey Shore in Pennsylvania. Okay, here it is. So Jersey Shore. Okay, there's Williamsport. It's just down the river. So not that much farther at all. So not that big. Doesn't say how big it is, but it's smaller than Williamsport. Yeah, oh yeah, Williamsport is way bigger. Okay. What other records? Oh yeah, and I forgot to look at this record. This is the record for... So this is Burnett's birth record. Oh. Oh, wait, no, that's father, mother. Birthplace, Newport, Pennsylvania. There we go. What year is this? 1910. She says that she's 30. Does she, like... I mean, again, we'll see, like, on her death certificate and on her, We'll see on her death certificate and on her grave what it says her birth year was. But it seems like everything after 1900, she, like, loses 2 years. Because she's in the 1880 census, it's listed as being 2 years old. And then here, she's also listed as being born in June of 1878. And here, being 31 makes sense. But then in 1920, she loses 2 years and becomes the same age as her husband. Okay. That's gonna be the death one. What else do we have here? Honestly, I think that's the next one we have to look at. All right, and let's see. Okay, so we know she's alive past 1940. I'm gonna guess that she died in 1944. That's my guess. If that's what this death certificate is, if it's hers, I'm gonna guess that she died in 1944. So let's see. Where does it say? Where does it say her birthday? Oh, there you go. Age 68. So 68 years old. And what's the 1947? August 3rd, 1947. Oh, she had asthma. Cerebrovascular accident. Cardiovascular disease. So basically, it sounds like she had like a heart attack or a heart condition, basically. I see here, George Walter Neff. Birthplace, yeah, Newport. Okay, so I think Newport, feel pretty confident saying that. I'm still not 100% convinced on the birth year and the birth date. Yeah, and Walter was still alive. So he was the informant here. Still living in the same place in Jersey Shore. There's something on the back of these, right? No, there isn't. I just want to double check just to make sure that there's nothing on the back side. Okay. So then let's go check out her grave then. Okay. Much else? 67, 60. Okay, yeah, so this just says 18. This says 1879. Was her birth year. That's January, so GAN. Because the death certificate January 30th, 1879. So she wouldn't be in 1880, she wouldn't be she wouldn't be 2. She'd be 1. So yeah, it's a little hard to say exactly, unfortunately. But, I mean, there are a few things we can add to here because I feel pretty confident in them. Like her birthplace being Newport, Pennsylvania. So let's add that. Again, the exact age is hard because I'm still not 100% sure what her birthday is. Because her age doesn't change really until she gets married. And the birth record does, or the marriage record doesn't mention anything about age. Sometimes, if it's a more detailed marriage record, it will say her age. But this one doesn't. But also she does change her name. Let's maybe add... No, let's do father. Because spouse, it's a little hard to, like, figure it out. Again, it's also hard because we don't know the exact birth and death here. Here we go. This is... yeah, this is her. Oh, interesting. Okay, so somebody did it for her kids. Wow, Bernadette lived to be 97. Lived all the way up to 2007. Newspaper records. This doesn't really have anything new, but it does have pictures of her kids, which is actually interesting. But nothing for her or George. Okay. Records. Neat. So yeah, just one Pennsylvania record is all we have here in terms of that. And since we know she dies in 1947, we know that there's not going to be anything for 1950. Interesting though that on this only Millard is listed. Saladsburg Cemetery. Yeah, only her and George are listed here. Her parents or her siblings aren't listed here at all. Because where was Harry buried? Pine Grove Cemetery, Berwick, Pennsylvania. Oh, that's right. It's Berwick, Pennsylvania because that's where her father and everything are buried. Her father's grave is still there, but Harry's unfortunately is missing. Or at least it's not showing up in the database. Okay. I think the next thing I want to do is look up some locations. So we have a few for her. Because, okay, yeah, this 1880 census, no, there's no street address or anything like that. 1900 one, we've actually already researched this, and we know that this location where they live doesn't exist anymore. Because it's a church. It's a church that was torn down. You know what? Okay, before we actually do that, we're about to have an ad play. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step away real quick, and let the ad play and everything. I'm gonna go to our BRB, or not really. It's not really a BRB. I need to make a BRB string, like a proper one. But I will be right back while the ad's going, and then we'll continue where we left off. So let me go ahead. Oh. Go ahead and put that away. And then... Alright, I'll be right back. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Hope. There we go. Hope everybody got up and stretched like I did for that. All right, but let's get back to what we were doing. And hello, Aeon. Good to see ya. Actually, hold on. Me talking in the chat there a little bit ago just reminded me, that I need to. I want to put a little thing in the chat, real quick. Okay. There we go. Let me pin that. All right. There we go. Yes, thank you, Pirate, for the welcome back. All right, now let's get back to what we were doing, which was this. All right. We were going to look up and see if we can figure out if some of these places still exist. So first of all, this one right here, 134 Funston Street, or Funston Avenue. And this is in Williamsport. This is before they moved to Jersey Shore. Okay, so 134, whoop, not 24, 34, Funston Avenue, Williamsport, PA. Oh. Why did... Does Funston Avenue not exist anymore? It could be... that is possible, that it could be a street that doesn't exist anymore. Hold on. Oh, no, here we go. Here it is. Okay, so it does exist. It's not that big of a street. But what are the numbers on it? Oh, well, yeah, these are all 800s. I mean, it could be the method. No, it's not that, because she's not living with her parents anymore. Yeah, so unless... Yeah, because this isn't... I thought, like, okay, maybe it got split up, but it doesn't... Like, Funston doesn't continue all the way down here. That might be something we have to look up in the Sanborn maps. Okay. But what's the other one? There's that one. And then there's... 440 Oak Street, Jersey Shore. One doesn't look like it exists anymore. Yep, that looks like it's gone. So it would have been here. Unless they've renumbered them. Because, well, I mean, these houses look more modern. Because they start living here 1920, but it's not their main house. This becomes their main house. I mean, this house doesn't even look that old. It's not. That's not 1920. That's like 40s or 50s. So yeah, so whatever house it is, I don't think it exists anymore. Which might be another one we can maybe find in the Sanborn maps. Okay, so then let's see. So then their main house was 231 Oliver Street. Oh, there we go. Right there. That's it, right? Yep, that's it. This corner house right here. That's it. That is a nice house. Look at that. And it was a house where, like, they owned it, right? Yeah, they owned it. 2 adults, 3 kids. That's a good-sized house. Okay. Let's then... I'm going to pull up the Sanborn maps real quick. And let's see if we can find them. I'm going to do Williamsport first. Okay, here we go. So we want to do... Let's make it so that it's just available online. And let's... There we go. Let's also make it so that it's just... Yeah, just Pennsylvania. Okay, and we want... The Funson one was 1920? Or was it 1910? 1910. Okay, so let's do... Okay, let's do the 19... Oh, they're all 1912. Almost all of them are 1912. Okay. We don't really have much of a choice then. Okay, let's try... Oh, no, wait, hold on. 1950. Date 1950, 1958, 1912. Oh, they're reprints in 1950. Okay, so this one's actually 1912. So this hopefully has that part of the town in it. Let's see. This one's taking a bit to load because there's a lot. Okay. Oh, come on. Why are you being slow on me? Sometimes the Library of Congress website is like this, where it's tricky. Okay. Funson. Funson Avenue. Okay, interesting. This also only says 700 to 900. That's interesting. So then where does this 130... Where... This is Williamsport, right? Because see, like, okay, yeah, see, look here. It jumps from 814 to 816. 712, 718, 720. Oh my god, it's a 7. It's not a 1, it's a 7. I just can't read their numbers. That's a 7. Okay, you have to admit, that looks like a 1, though. From at least this one in particular. So it's 734. Which means it actually might still exist. Hold on, okay, wait, 734... Hudson Avenue. Yep. It looks like it does. Although it's this building here. Yeah, this half and this half. It's split in half. It's split in half, this building. Which actually, I do still want to check that. Just to make sure that is the right one. So, 102. Let's try this one. Is this it? Hold on. Oh, no, that's actually 94, so... We want 8 more, so let's try 110. Here we go. Funston. 720. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is, right there. And yeah, it's still split. That's that exact same... If we pull... Yeah. It's that exact same... That's it. Two and a half stories, dwelling. Yep. Huh. I wonder if they lived across the street because... from the church. If, like, maybe her father worked there. Well, actually, no, wait. If her father lived nearby, we would see it on the... We would see it on this. Yeah. Huh. Okay, that mystery was solved. Okay, so that one, actually, yes, their house does still exist. I just couldn't read. But... this one... Yeah, okay, let's see if... Okay, hold on, back to search. I don't know if Jersey Shore is gonna... Hold on, let me put Jersey Shore in parentheses, or in quotes, so that way we actually get it properly. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Wow, look at that. There actually are a decent number for Jersey Shore. We want the closest to 1920 that they have, or 1930? 1920. Which I think, unfortunately, these ones from 1927 aren't online. So let's go with this 1913 one. It's not that big, only 13 images. Alright, let's look at the index here. Oliver Oak. Okay, and what was the number again? 440. It might not be on here. Six. Oh, wait, yeah, there's Oliver. Hold on, wait, yeah, I want to Locust. Walnut. Hold on. Okay, Locust Walnut. Howard. Where is Oak? Elm. Grandview Way, Bowers, Maple. Is it called something else? And there's Pine Creek at the very bottom here. Oh wait, here no, here's Oak. Oak. Oh yeah, Oak, Maple, Elm. It's in between. Yeah, Oak, Maple, Elm. Locust. I think it stops like right before. Yeah, this is Cemetery. But it's not called that anymore. I think Cemetery is what's now this, T351. Oh yeah, no, Cemetery Street. So yeah, it is the same. Yeah, so it's just south. It's likely not going to be on, I mean, we'll still look on page 6, but it's likely just going to be just too far out of reach. If the page will load. Let's see. Cemetery, Oak. Yeah, look, it stops at 413, just north. Just a little bit north of where we want to be. Darn. Yeah, so it's not on here. Oh well. Okay, so unfortunately we won't know what this house looked like. The other two houses still exist. Okay. Let's see then. I think next thing I want to do real quick is do one quick search on family search. Let me log in here real quick. Okay. Lawrence. Solman. So, yep, this is heard. A few sources here. We'll just see real quick if there's anything different. Census record. Census record. Okay. Most of them are census records. This is the marriage certificate I think we already saw for... Yeah, for Millard. For her son Millard. And this, I'm guessing, is the draft card... Yeah, for George, for World War I. I guess, yeah, I forgot about that. He would technically be old enough for that. I don't think he was... I mean, he's 37, so he's not, like, prime candidate, but he could have. Yeah, George Walter Neff. Jersey Shore, Lycoming, Pennsylvania. White, native born January 13th, 1881. Postman, yep, that's him. And yeah, nearest relative, Florence, listed here. Medium build, medium height, gray eyes. What does that say? Color of hair. Dark? Just dark hair, that's it? No other descriptors? Great, yeah, we got medium height, medium build, dark hair. I can picture it clearly in my mind. Just an average guy with gray eyes. That is still one of the funniest things, I think, on these, like, World War I draft cards, of how they're not specific on, like, their height or anything. It's just, like, or weight. It's just slender, medium, or stout, tall, medium, or short. And I wonder what, like, the ranges were. And if they just did it based on, like, visual? Because I feel like if you actually measured them, you would just put the measurement down. Okay. But that's really the only thing here that's new. Everything else is stuff we've already seen. And then there are two things here, memories. Oh, death certificate. That's the one we already have. And this is an obituary, which I think we'll find... I want to wait on reading that, because I think we're going to find that later. Because next, I want to move on to... let's move on to newspapers. So we'll... Actually, wait, hold on. I want to check that one newspaper that is here. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter, because I was going to check to see, like, oh, does she go by Florence or does she go by Flora in the newspaper? But it looks like it looks like it's just she just goes by Mrs. G. Walter Neff. All right. Well, I think we'll start with her maiden name. Florence FF. I just realized, yeah, her initials are FF. Florence Fosselman. We'll start 1878 to 1890. I think we'll just do Pennsylvania first, because I think it's broad enough of a name that, yeah. How about Flora? Nothing. Okay, let's try 1891 to 1900, because we know that they live in Pennsylvania their whole life. Okay. Okay, first let's sort by oldest. York County, Cumberland County, Perry County. Okay, so York. Is York one of the places? Okay, Carlisle is around this time, because these newspapers are from, yeah, 1900. 1898 to 1900. Almost all of them are 1900. Okay, so first let's look at this one. Let's see. Miss Flora Fosselman of Carlisle is visiting Miss A.H. Irvine on Hanover Street. Okay, yeah, that is her, because in 97, yeah, her father was assigned to Carlisle. So yeah, that is her. She's visiting somebody. Then about a year later, yeah, Newport. That's where she was from. Okay, wait, so here, Miss Flora Fosselman, a daughter of Reverend M.F. Fosselman of Carlisle, is visiting her grandfather, C.G. Gardner. Which, if I have... Hold on, that's her mother's father then, right? Yeah, because, yeah, her mother's last name is... her maiden name is Gardner, so yeah. So that's her maternal grandfather that she's visiting. That's just the same thing. Okay, this next one. Missionary work. Central Pennsylvania Branch, WMC in session. Wednesday. Song testimony service. Miss Flora. Here we go. Miss Flora E. Fosselman. She's doing how to interest the members of the United Evangelical Church in our foreign missionary work. Which says, okay. So yeah, so she is doing stuff for her father's church. So she is involved in that. She'd be 20. Yeah, she'd be 22 at this point. That's the same one. And I think this is like a thing from the next day. Miss Florrie Fosselman of Williamsport, PA, read a well-prepared paper on how to interest the members of the United Evangelical Church in our foreign missionary work. Okay. So yeah, so she was reading that. That's the same art. So it looks like there's two different newspapers that are just reporting the same thing over and over again. And actually, these two are also York Dispatch, the Gazette. Yeah, they're all just saying the same thing. They're literally all saying the same thing. Wait, hold on. What is this? Missions in China. United Evangelical Women will aid them. Ways and Means Committee of the Central Pennsylvania branch of the Women's Missionary Society recommends that a special effort be made in this direction, close close of an interesting convention. And so okay, the president then announced the district organizers for the ensuing year, which are as follows. Williamsport District. Okay. So she was in charge of the mission band. Yeah, so she's involved in the church. She's doing she's involved in helping with mission work. Yeah, these are all the same. Okay, yeah, these are all the same ones. Okay. Anything for Florence? Okay, so there's... Oh, shoot, okay, so that's going to be interesting, the fact that she's included in both. So let's see here. Mostly Cumberland County, which I guess makes sense because she was in Carlisle. Let's see if these are anything. Several selections of music were then rendered by Miss Florence Fosselman, after which the friends quietly withdrew to their homes, leaving their pastor and his family to enjoy their precious tokens of esteem, reflection, and memory. A reception to Reverend Fosselman. Where the newly appointed pastor to the First United Evangelical Church resides was a gathering of a large number. Fully 100 of the friends and members of this congregation. Jesus Christ, 100 people coming over to visit? And she was playing music for them. Which makes sense because, like, this is... Yeah, 1897 is when he was assigned to Carlisle, which is where this was. Let's see. What is this one? Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of Reverend M.F. Fosselman, went to Milton today on an extended visit. Okay, nothing crazy there. That's the same one. What is this? It's under purely personal. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of the Reverend M.F. Fosselman, has been elected superintendent of the evangelical mission bands of the Carlisle district. Okay, so she was doing it before, because the other thing we saw was from 1900. So she has, yeah, she's been doing this for years. She has experience doing this and helping out with the church. Okay, what is this one? Bible conference held at the Evangelical Church, morning service. Something in junior work? Incentives in junior work, it looks like. KLCE convention. Okay, so she was presenting there. We'll read paper. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of Reverend M.F. Fosselman, of this place will read a paper at the Bible conference of that church at York tomorrow on the incentive of junior CE work. Reverend Young of this place will attend. Wait, so is this the same? Because I thought the ones from here... Hold on. Yeah, because this one's from 1900, so I guess she maybe did it more than once. She presented on this paper more than once, if it's showing up that many times. Okay, yeah, that's just the same thing. What's this one? There's Flora Fosselman, chairman of the social committee, had charge of the well-rendered and much appreciated program. The first of the program was the singing of Blessed Be the Tie That Binds. Then the pastor, Reverend Fosselman, offered a fervent prayer. This was followed by an interesting reading by Miss Ira Ziegler, the model church. Okay, so KLCE is some sort of like group, that's part of the church that she is also a part of. Thing with that group, officers. Oh wow, she was vice president. That's probably why there's a decent number of articles in here of her, because she was so involved with the church. Let's see this one. When the clock struck 8, Miss presiding at the organ executed a beautifully long and celebrated bridal march in court. Oh, okay, so wait, this is a wedding. Okay, yeah. This is a wedding where she is the organist. So yes, she was definitely very musically skilled. Let's see. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of Reverend M.F. Fosselman of Carlisle, is among friends here. But this also means that there's like nothing from her time in Titanic, because nothing came up at all. I mean, they only did live there for like 3 years, so I guess that kind of makes sense. And she was still young, so it kind of makes sense that she probably wouldn't be mentioned in the newspapers. Miss Annie Knoll of Millerstown, Pennsylvania, is being entertained by her friend Miss Florence Fosselman. Okay, so getting visited by friends and stuff, showing that she's being social. Let's see, what about this one? Is this anything different? Okay, yeah. Organ, yeah, okay, so she's doing an organ thing again. Uh, Women Missionary Society. Yeah, corresponding secretary. The president of the society. Uh, and the corresponding secretary, Miss Florence Fossman. Yeah, okay, so she was. This is for the Women's Missionary Society. So yeah, so she's very involved in that kind of stuff. It seems like. Mrs. M.F. Fosselman and the family of Carlisle are guests of her parents. Miss Florence Fosselman expects to remain in Perry County for the next 4 weeks, visiting friends. Wow, 4 weeks. I mean, it is summer, so I guess maybe that's why. School's not in session. Actually, no, she wouldn't even be in school at this point. She's like 19. And that also explains in the census record from 1900. Teacher musical instruments. That's right. So yeah, she was definitely musically skilled and enough she was teaching people. What is the part of thanks? The missionary societies of the First United Evangelical Church being granted the right of holding a festival in the spacious hall of the Cumberland Engine House hereby express their sense of appreciation and thankfulness to the officers and members of this division of the Fire Department of Carlisle for their esteemed favor and the kind aid given the societies the night of the festival. Florence Fosselman, corresponding secretary. Yeah. So she's writing thank you cards in the paper and everything for them. Let's see, what's this? Okay, this is saying she went to church she went to Milton, PA to be a bridesmaid at a wedding, one of her friends' weddings. Okay. With this one. Resigned as organist. Mrs. W.F. Vandersloot, who for 3 years officiated most efficiently as organist of the First United Evangelical Church, has resigned her position. Miss Florence Fosselman will succeed her. Wow. And that's at Williamsport now, so they've officially moved to Williamsport. Because 1900, I think, is when they... Yeah, 1900 is when they first moved to Williamsport. Okay, so then let's change it to 1901 to 1910. In between which she should get married. Wow, there's only 3 things for all of Pennsylvania. Okay, well, what are they? Maybe Flora, there'll be more. Items of personal nature. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of Reverend M.F. Fosselman, formerly of the Evangelical Church, is visiting friends in Carlisle. Okay, so no, nothing really big there. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter of a formerly pastor at the Medieval Church here, is visiting Miss Burnett. Whoa, wait. Miss Fosselman now resides in Lock Haven. I think that's... Hold on. Oh, Lock Haven. Here it is. I was like, I saw that name. I could have, like, that name sounded so familiar. Here it is. Okay. So yeah, it's just down the river from Williamsport. But I did notice here, Bernetta. That's the same name as her daughter. I wonder if she named her daughter after her. I think she probably did. Let's see. Former Commandant of Lockhaven is a guest of Miss Pearl Reed. Okay, yeah. So that's it. But let's see if under Flora... Wow, really? She just disappeared from the record. And saying that, yeah, she's just a guest. Again, of Carlisle. So she kept in close touch with the people in Carlisle that she lived with. Or her friends there. Okay, let's... When did she get married again? Uh... 1908. So yeah, the fact that there's nothing there. In Williamsport is where they got married. June 1908. Hold on. Let's do a few things here. Let's just look up specifically the last name Neff. June 1908. Oh boy. Oh, okay, wait, GW Neff. Hold on. Let me change it to that specifically. Because that seems to be how he's referred to in newspapers. Hold on, what is this? Doctors T.N. Eastman and G.W. Neff of Masontown. Difficult operation. Huh, wait, no, okay, that's not... He's not a doctor. George? Oh god, there is a George W. Neff, and another George W. Neff in Pennsylvania. Wow, so we don't have their marriage. Because if we go back to just doing Neff, and specifically, nothing for Lycoming County, really? Well, because it was in June 18th. Maybe What if we change to Fossilman? William Fossilman. G.E. Fossilman. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I think this is it. I think it's just because it's so bad quality. Oh yeah, that's why. Because look how, ooh, look at this quality. But I think it's the only thing we got. Miss Florence Edith Fossilman, daughter of Reverend and Mrs. M.F. Fossilman, at something on Thursday, became the bride of George Walter Neff of this city. Only the something relatives and friends were something. The ceremony was formed by the Mrs. Father, and there were no attendants. The bride was something in white chiffon and carried a shower banquet of white roses. After the wedding breakfast, the bride and groom left on a tour of the western or eastern cities. They'll be at home at 820 Funston Avenue after July 1st. Okay, so that is it. Because is this? That's not talking about the... Yeah, that's just talking about the church. It's not talking about the wedding. Okay. Okay, so that's good. We did actually find a newspaper article talking about their wedding, even though you can't read like a third of it. But it does back up what we see in that other record, because it does say that her father officiated it. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to mute myself real quick. Didn't want to cough on the mic. Okay. So then I feel like at this point she's not going to be going, after this, she's not going to be going by Flora Fossilman anymore. It's most likely just going to be Mrs. G.W. Neff. Let's go 1911 to 1920. Do we have much for anything for... wow, that's crazy. I guess there might not aren't that many Lyoming County newspapers here. And some of these say Mr. So let's just focus on the ones that are Mrs. Let's see. Has returned home to her home in Masontown. After a visit to friends here. Wait, where's Masontown? Is that anywhere near? Because I think that could... Oh, no. Okay, that's the other... That's not the right... Mrs. G.W. Neff. God dang it. Of course, there have to be two G.W. Neffs living at the same time in Pennsylvania. So I think that means then the only ones we're going to be able to know 100% that are her are ones that make reference to Williamsport. So like this one, for example, and yeah, okay, here we go. This one we know is her. Because it says Mrs. G.W. Neff and daughter Bernetta, which we do know is her daughter, of Williamsport, and they all say Williamsport, so this is definitely them. Left today for their home after spending 2 weeks in this city, visiting Reverend Mr. and Mrs. M.F. Fosselman, 322 East Princess Street. Okay. That's just a repeat. That's a repeat as well. This might be the wrong person. Yeah, that's the wrong person. I feel like these ones from Lancaster also probably aren't them. Because this is personals from, yeah, Lancaster County. Which is nowhere near where they are. So I think these ones from Lancaster County aren't them. Hold on, what is this? Okay, I know this isn't him because this says G.W. Neff, one of the oldest streetcar motormen. That is not, yep. Let's see, is this them? No. Yeah, no, they can't confirm if that's them. Okay, well, we know that this is not her because it says critically ill, and that's referring to Masontown, and then recent deaths. It's not not her. So I think we know then after this that all the ones that are likely, because the other one died. I think these ones going forward will be her. South Mill Street has been called to Ambridge on the account of the illness of her father. Is Ambridge somewhere he was working? No. Where's this? Newcastle Herald. I don't think that's her. Okay, let's try... What if we change to George? All these ones from Harrisburg and like Pittsburgh. This is the same one we already read? Mr. and Mrs. George W. Neff and daughter Burnett, who were guests of Reverend Fosman, have returned to their home in Williamsport. That one might be slightly different. I don't think this is... Yeah. Field party. So this is the other... Yeah, this is the other... Okay, yeah, so none of those... This one? No. Yeah, these ones from Harrisburg, I'm pretty... Yeah, they're not her. This one from York might be her? Hold on. But she did live in York. Women open loan. Yeah, again, I can't... Because she wouldn't... By this point, she wasn't living in York. She was living in Lycoming County. Yeah, that's not her. I doubt it's gonna come up, but let's just try. Hold on. Is this... Is this the right person? Oh, great. There's another... No, there's another... Because she was married by this point. And son, yeah, and I don't see anything here about a GW Neff. Great. Okay, wait. So yeah, so that means there is a Flora. That means that there is a Flora Neff who lives. Okay, yeah, Mrs. Flora T. Neff. Flora M. Neff. Flora M. Neff. Flora N. Wow, okay, so there's... At least that helps narrow... No, that again proves that it's not the right one. Thank God. Okay. Hence? Oh boy. Okay, never mind. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. So much nope. Okay, there are some from Lycoming County, so we'll look at those. Look at those for sure. Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, it's Miss, as if she's not married. So that's not her. It can't be her. Jesus. Okay. Well. Let's go ahead and change the year here. So 1921 to 1930. Let's just make it Pennsylvania again. Let's see. ACNF. Mr. and Mrs. GWF and son Clyde. Okay, I know that's not them. Party given on Monday evening. No. Okay, this is not who we're looking for. HBNF. It's on Clyde. Okay, yeah, so yeah, there's a different... The one in Lancaster is a different... Yeah, so I feel like unless it says specifically that they're from Williamsport or that it has one of their kids' names with them. Yeah, see, son Clyde. We know that's not the right one. That's the only way we're going to know that 100% that it's the right one. Or to meet... Yeah, this is in Harrisburg. GWNF. Okay, I know. That's not... Let's see. Nope. South 2nd Street, nope. Don't think it's her. Yeah, no, that's not her. Yeah, nope. It's again. Again, yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's all Neff is their maiden name, so that's not who we're looking for. Anything for Lycoming County? No. Okay. Let's change it back. Mrs. GWNF. Let's change it 1931. 1940. Wow, that's crazy that there's nothing. And this probably isn't even the right. This church, come on, hi. Nope, not who we're looking for. Okay, what about George? What is this? Two daughters. Nope. Yeah. So yeah. This one in Harrisburg isn't her. Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, and this one dies in 1940. Okay. Okay, that one's from 1940. That means after this, so... Okay, well, hold on, let's... Again, let me just try one more time. With Florence. Oof, Jesus. Again, anything from Lycoming County? No. Oh, whoops, nope, not what I meant to click. Yeah, Lancaster is like, there's, yeah, Florence. Yeah, it's... not happening. Yeah, nothing there. What if we add her middle initial? Nope, nothing. Okay, so hold on, so Mrs. GW. Okay, so 41 to 47. I'll do 48, just, you know, just in case there's something afterwards, but this should be the last of it. Okay, nothing. The Reverend Doctor and Mrs. Yu. No, okay, that's just a transcription error. This is after her death, so it's not her. Okay, let's try George. Nope. Okay. Let's try Florence. Service. Following service, so blah. She was still, hold on, let me look at her death certificate again. She was still living at... where's her death certificate? Here we go. She was still living... Yeah, she was still living in Jersey Shore when she died. I just want to make sure so that we know that... Yeah, this isn't... them. Let's make it specifically... Okay, so that doesn't change anything. What about full name? Nope. Let's go back to this. Let's specifically change it to 1947 so we can get her obituary. Florence B, Florence Hoffman. Florence B, Florence B, Florence I. Really? Nothing? Hold on. When did she... When... Date of birth... August. Yeah, okay, so August. May, June. Is there really nothing for her? No obituary? Laura? Hope so. Wow, that's crazy. If there's nothing... There's no obituary for her? This is... June 1940. Is this one of those things like... Okay, yeah, this is one of those words like 50 years ago something happened here. Which is not helpful at all. Miss Florence Fosselman, daughter, superintendent. Yeah, we already read that. Okay. We actually already found that original article from 50 years ago. Wow, I'm shocked. I thought at first that there was going to be a ton of stuff with her, considering how involved she was. But I'm honestly, I'm thinking that it might be because from this era, there's not a lot of newspapers in the database from Lycoming County from this time period. Because on here, there are some things listed here. So let's see what these ones are real quick. No, yeah, this isn't her at all. This one. Oh, here we go. August 10th, 19... Okay, this is her. Wilkes-Barre. Mrs. G. Walter Neff. Oh, I wasn't looking at that one. The funeral of Mrs. G. Walter Neff, mother of Millard Neff, basketball coach of 40 Fort High School, who died Sunday night at her home 231 Oliver Street, Jersey Shore, will be held from her home Wednesday morning at 10:30. Interment will be at Jersey Shore. Mrs. Neff had suffered a stroke a week ago. She was the daughter of Reverend and Mrs. Millard Fosselman, and as a young woman lived in Taconic and Berwick during her father's pastorates in those communities. Also surviving is her husband, a son, David of Jersey Shore, a daughter, Mrs. Edward Eisenbies, of Williamsport, one grandchild, and a sister, Mrs. Stewart Christine of Lemoyne. It might be Lemoyne and not Lemon. Okay, so there is... Okay, so G. Walter Neff. Hold on. G. Walter Neff. Okay. This is it. Okay. Okay, hold on. This changes things. So hold on, so this one... Mrs. G. Walter Neff, 68, of 231 Oliver Street, Jersey Shore. Died at 11 p.m. Sunday, August 3rd, at the home of her daughter, Mrs. Edward Eisenbies, 643 Washington Boulevard, following a prolonged illness. Surviving other than her daughter, her husband, two sons, Millard at 44th, and David of Jersey Shore. One sister. Mrs. Neff was the former Florence Fosselman, daughter of the Reverend Millard Fosselman, who, as an evangelical minister, served several churches of that denomination in this vicinity during his acting pastorate. She was a graduate of Metziger College. Oh, she went to college. Carlisle, and taught piano and organ in this city and vicinity. For many years, she was an active teacher and organist in the Trinity Evangelical Church, Jersey Shore. Okay, so she was a music teacher. This is the one we just read. But this one might be different. Mrs. G. Walter Neff, mother of Millard F. Neff, basketball coach at 40 Fort High School, died Sunday evening at her home, Jersey Shore. Daughter, who lived in father's course, all surviving. Okay. A little bit different information. I mean, it shows what Millard's doing at the time. He's apparently a basketball coach at a high school. What does this one look like? You don't look mechanic. Okay, yeah, it's all the same. Funerals. Okay, yeah. Cemetery at Jersey Shore. Okay, hold on. This might have some more information. Former Brentwick resident dies. Mrs. G. Walter Neff was daughter of the late Reverend Mr. Fosselman. Mrs. G. Walter Neff, a former Berwickian. That's a great, citizen name. and daughter of the late Reverend and Mrs. Millard Fosselman, succumbed at her home in Jersey Shore on Sunday night. She had been seriously ill since suffering a stroke 1 week before her death. Mrs. Neff, who lived in Berwick while her father was a pastor here, was the mother of Millard F. Neff, basketball coach of 40 Fort High School. Other survivors include her husband, one son, daughter. Okay. Wow, so the only one that's messaging like stuff that she did before is this like one that looks awful. It's really hard to read, talking about like where she apparently did go to college. Okay, hold on. So now that we know that she predominantly went by this name, let's try this again. 1920 to 1930. Okay, what about just G. Walter Neff? Oh wait, hold on. This is from Berwick. Oh, wait, what is this? Verdict given for plaintiff. In action of G. Walter Neff versus Hugh Thompson growing out of sale of corn. The question of how much corn composed a bushel under the terms of the sale ended in a verdict for G. Walter Neff of Jersey Shore, the plaintiff, in a something action against Hugh Thompson of Berwick in the first trial at the May term of Common Pines? Common something court, which opened yesterday, the jury returning a verdict of $80.25 for the plaintiff at 3:19 o'clock yesterday afternoon after they had deliberated an hour. Only 3 witnesses were heard in the case: the plaintiff, the defendant, and H.L. Garrison, called as a plaintiff witness. Neff testified that he had paid $150 for 150 bushels of corn, which he said he understood was to be shelled corn. Corn on the ear had been delivered, which Thompson claimed was according to the terms of the sale. H.G. Teal of Town was counsel for the plaintiff, and R.O. Brockway of Berwick was counsel for the defendant. The members of the jury were... Okay, then let's list all of them. Okay, so wow, so that's... So he paid $150 for corn, thinking that it was going to be like shucked corn or shelled. But then corn on the ear was delivered, and so he sued him for that and won. Wow. I feel like there's a corn pun you can make here, but like I can't think of it right now. It's too late in the evening for me to like think of that. Is this a better version of this same one? Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is a better version of it, so I'm going to get rid of this other one. On a corn and bushel settled by jury. So he got $80 for it, which, you know, in 1929, that's a decent amount of money. But he also paid a decent amount of money for that corn. And then is this talking about the trial? Okay, this is just like a little thing. In the proceedings of G. Walter Neff versus Hugh Thompson, a petition for rule to show cause why judgment could not be entered for want of a sufficient affidavit or defense was entered. Neff seeks to recover $101.75. Does someone have more detail? Oh, wait. In the subset action of G. Walter Neff versus Hugh Thompson, a rule was made absolute and judgment entered for the plaintiff in the sum of $101.25 with the interest from March 5th, 1928, and the costs. Wait, so did he win twice? Did maybe he did Thompson maybe like try to appeal? Huh. Okay, hold on. So let's try. Actually, wait, 1910, 1919. Just. Okay, one thing from Williamsport, but I think it's for him. G. Walter Neff, the mail carrier, yep, that's him, is spending his vacation hunting near Larry's Creek. That's after he got married. Okay. But, okay, so let's do 30. No, wait, no, 31 to 40. Okay, here we go. Here are some Williamsport ones. Look at that. Perfect. What does this one say? More data on rural taxes by G. Walter Neff, editor of The Express. Okay, this isn't him, because... Yeah. This is from The Express. This is a different... What about this? Many delegates at Sunday School Affair. John A. Eckert, elected head of Lycoming County Sabbath Schools. Oh, look, yeah, that's their daughter. Miss Bernadette Neff conducted the singing and devotions. Were in charge of blah, blah, blah. Report of the nominating committee as follows. School administration, G. Walter Neff. All were unanimously elected. Okay, so this is specifically for Sunday schools, not for like any other school. Let's see, what about this? Yeah, and here he is again. Elected for administration work. For the same group. This is the next year. What about this one? Gleaners and Dorcas classes are entertained. The following attended a Thanksgiving dinner at the home of J.D. Neff. Mr. and Mrs. Walter. Okay, yeah. So they are. I mean, I'm keeping. Normally, I wouldn't keep this one, but the fact that we have so little of them actually from from Williamsport. What is this? Is this their daughter getting married? Yep, it is. Couple married at bride's home, Jersey Shore, June 25th. In a ceremony performed Saturday noon at the home of the bride's parents, Mrs. Bernadette A. Neff, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. G. Walter Neff of this place, became the bride of G. Edward Eisenbeis. son of Mrs. Sarah Eisenbeis of Williamsport. Where did we see that name? We just saw that name. Where was that name before? I think they're a family friend. Reverend Roy O. Bodtorf, pastor of Morsevale Methodist Church, and a close friend of the couple, performed the single ring ceremony. The occasion marked the wedding anniversary of the Reverend and Mrs. Bodstorff. Given in marriage by her father, the bride was attired in a lovely gown of figured white mousseline de Sol, fashioned with tight bodice, short puffed sleeves, and full skirt, with two lapels forming a high V neckline. Her shoulder-length veil was a tulle which fell from a coronet with white rosebeds, and her only ornament was a single strand of pearls belonging to her mother. Miss Neff carried a prayer book with white satin streamers showered with white rosebuds. There were no attendants. Mrs. Roy O. Bosorf played the traditional wedding music, and Miss Lucille Linker, a college classmate of Mrs. Neff's at Mansfield State Teachers College, sang appropriate selections. After the wedding breakfast, attended by members of the immediate families, Mr. and Mrs. Eisenman left for the week's wedding trip to the seashore. Upon their return, they will reside in Williamsport. Okay. So yeah, so this is Bernadette getting married. Okay, and then 41 to 47. What is this one? Neff family holds reunion at Larryville. The Neff family reunion was held recently at the home of Miss Blanche Neff here. Present at the event were the following: Mr. and Mrs. G. Walter Neff. Okay, yeah. So then that's them. Okay, yeah, that's it. It's just them attending a family reunion. And then, okay, yeah, this is the one. I think everything else in this is on her death. Okay, and that's Walter visiting friends. Yeah, these are all ones we already saw. Okay. When did Walter pass away? 1953. So let's try that. Wait, what is this? Hold on. What? 2 drowned in Pine Creek pool. Jersey Shore boy 3 and grandfather lost. A 3-year-old Jersey Shore boy and his 72-year-old grandfather, who tried to save him, drowned this morning in Little Pine Creek, Lycoming County, in the pool just downstream from the flood control dam. The body of Skippy Neff, son of Mr. and Mrs. David Neff, was recovered 1 mile downstream by Harry Michaels, a power linesman from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Harry Bonnell, Jersey Shore, who was fishing near the scene of the double tragedy, pulled the grandfather, G. Walter Neff, from the water. Oh my god. He was still alive at the time of his rescue, but died a few moments later on the creek bank. The drownings were witnessed by Mr. Neff's housekeeper, Mrs. Marriott Aline of Jersey Shore. Reports said that the little boy, his grandfather, and Mrs. Aline had gone to the scene at 8 a.m. to fish. The boy toppled from the railing around the 14-foot deep pool. Mr. Neff dove into the water after the grandson, but the boy was carried downstream through some rifles. The drownings occurred at 8:30 a.m. The boy's body was retrieved from the swift waters 2 hours after he fell into the deep pool. Oh my god, that's so sad. He tried to save him. Wow, that is not where I thought this was going to end. Wow. That explains why there's so many articles about it. Wow, yeah, these are all... Here we go. Okay, this is about specifically him. G. Walter Neff, a 72-year-old retired mail carrier, drowned in Little Pine Creek near Jersey Shore in a futile effort to save the life of his 3-year-old grandson. The two were standing near a 14 feet deep hole, and the lad slipped while playing near a railing and toppled into the water. The elder Neff dived in after the boy, and after dragging him to shore alive, the aged man expired. Dang. God. Wow, this is... This is not where I thought this was going to end at all. And I thought, like, I genuinely was thinking, like, before we got to this part, like, okay, it seems like nothing, no crazy stories, no weird events or anything like that throughout this whole thing. God, yeah, this was all over the place. Wow. Oh, man, that's so sad to end it on that. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and let's fill... Now that we have a decent amount of information now, let's start filling this in. We do know that she was a music teacher. Put piano and organ. And yes, she did get married. June 18th or 8th? June 18th. Okay. June 18th, 1908 to George Walter Neff. And they had 3 children. The death or the birthday is still confusing to me. Because this is January 30th, 1879. When do they... She'd be like she'd be like 1.5 almost for this part and not 2. Okay, so I think I'll go with what's on her death certificate. I think that makes the most sense. So January 30th, 1879. '30th, 1879. So that means in the photo she's 9? Yeah, she's 9. Again, so far still the oldest person we've had in here. And died by drowning. Trying to save grandson. And was there something else from her that I was also going to add? Maybe not. I think that was kind of it. Okay, also on her death certificate, her death date, August 3rd, 1947. August 3rd, 1947. So, and she was 69? 68. Okay. So 68. And she died in Jersey Shore, PA. And is buried in Salad. Salad Asberg. Okay. So, Addisburg Cemetery. Osburg, PA. Where is that? Wait. Hold on. Salasburg, PA. Okay, it's in like the hills above the river. Is there a cemetery? There's a Methodist church, but I don't see a cemetery back there. Nothing. We're gonna just graveyard. Maybe it is part of the church? I don't see it. Yeah, this is like in town. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what... Does it say on a... Does it have a map here of where it is? No, it just says add to map. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Oh, wait, I think there's like... I just want to double check this one. Couple married at bride's home. Oh, yeah, this is the one on... Okay, yeah, this is the... This is her marriage article that we already read. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and call it here. So overall, a pretty good standard life for Florence specifically. She did unfortunately lose a lot of her siblings. Of the 5 siblings, that she had, only one other one, or she was one of 5, so she had 4 siblings. Of the 4 siblings she had, only one other one made it to adulthood. Wow. And she was the oldest, so she probably knew or remembered all of her younger siblings who passed away. Not just counting Harry, but the other ones too. But yeah, overall lived a good life. We learned she was very involved in the local church, with her father especially. And yeah, very involved in like mission work and doing all that kind of stuff. Don't really have as much on her after she got married. It seems like she was still, kind of involved in like church stuff. She was a teacher, we know, of like, teaching people how to like, learn how to play the organ and everything. So yeah, she overall lived a really good life. She did die not young, but kind of young for this, I guess maybe by today's standards, but like not maybe by back then. But unfortunately, God, what happened to her? What happened to George, was her husband, was just incredibly tragic. How he, unfortunately, drowned trying to save his grandson. I think that honestly might be the most tragic like story we've read in this project, because I mean the other ones, like for example for like Harry and Ruth, who yes, they died young, which is very tragic. This I think hits harder because not only did he die, he died trying to save his 3-year-old grandson, who unfortunately also didn't make it. Wow. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's head on back to the classroom. All right, let me go ahead and make myself a little bit bigger. All right, so yeah, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, I just realized we're in the middle of an ad, so actually I'm gonna... if I would have caught that, I would have, like, you know, waited a little bit. Oh, wait for the ad to end, and then we'll do the whole, you know, end thing. Let's see. Let's see. I'm spending the time in the meantime trying to find somebody to raid. Da-da-da-da. Let's see. Okay. Are we out of the ad now? Yes, we are. All right, great. So, now that we're out of the ad, I should have timed that a little bit better, but oh well. I didn't want to end on an ad like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new here, I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I do these types of streams every Wednesday and Sunday officially at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But sometimes I do guerrilla streams, so make sure you go ahead and follow so that you know when I go live next. I don't know if I'll do a stream this weekend, either on Friday or Saturday. It really just depends on how much I get done. I will be working on a new YouTube short this weekend, so it should come out this weekend before the next stream on Sunday. So look forward to that. So you can also check out the YouTube channel down below. Check that out as well. And let's find somebody else to raid. Let's go ahead and let's raid a random person. Let's raid a random person doing reading and writing. Let's raid this person. All right. Let me go ahead and put the raid message here. Oop. Right. That'll be that. And then So yeah, that's gonna do it for today, folks. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be streaming any other day this week. Possibly on what is it? Sunday or possibly on Saturday or Friday. But yeah, either way, hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And I'll see you guys next time. All right, have a good night, everybody. Take care.